form is coming your way. It is 3 pages, 2 sides. The first 2 pages, or the first page, 2 sides, talks about a speech-a-thon and judging for an evaluation contest. We will not be using that this morning. We'll be using the other 4 pages. And my observation as I was listening to her, you just heard his speech. You wrote some comments on your sheet. And so on the 3rd page it says message driven. Was there a message? Did you get a message from her in his speech? In the early days of Toastmasters, we were given the idea, well, is it a persuasive speech? Is it an informative speech? Entertaining, etc.? So, I put a few check marks. For me, it was an informative speech. He talked about his days at the credit union and why, and he entertained us with some humor along the way. One that caught my ear to my wife's satisfaction. And if you know Shirley, that's a big one. And did he inform us in an organized fashion? Yes. And his conclusion is a good one. What am I going to do? Do you realize how much time it took for him to serve on the board? No. So now he has this vacuum of time. The 2nd page is a heartfelt evaluation. Did he capture your attention in the first 10 words? I would say Herbie threw the word "I think" in there, that is celebrating the 75th annual meeting. No, it's not. It's either 75, 74. Don't give us that moment of doubt. The 3rd line down is, what's in it for me? That's what WIIFM stands for. What's in it for me? Well, as a member of credit unions, I realize where Herbert's coming from and what it means to our success financially. And as we go down this list, there's things that you may have spotted, I didn't spot. Well, how long will I remember this speech? Well, because Herb has spoken on credit unions before, I will say forever, because it's a reoccurring theme that Herb shares with us occasionally. Another thing that caught my ear, and I wrote that I'm going to steal in the block below, it's time to move on. And say that phrase when it's time to move on for you. Whatever you are doing in life, you've reached what you think is the end, time to move on. And let's see, I'm trying to do this in order as you see the pages. So the top of the visual evaluation. He stood out front, no notes that you were aware of. I watched him put a piece of paper on the table, but he didn't really refer to it. Probably was an outline, and that was great. And he got you chuckling when he talked about his jar of candy as he was campaigning, chocolates. Good job on that, Herb. And he got some humor from you when he talked about his dog walking. And he gave us some visuals of that. Was his facial expressions appropriate to the speech? One of the questions asked on the visual evaluation, yes. I thought he did. So this is something that you can incorporate in your presentation. Remember, your face tells a lot of the message you are trying to give. And in the last page is a heartfelt evaluation. I did that. Try that again. Verbal evaluation. As I mentioned, he did not use notes. I think one of the things that really caught my ear is when the auditor knocked on the door and you expressed the moment, and we all got a chuckle out of that. I enjoyed the presentation. With this form, as you flip a lot of pages, but you may be able to take ideas from this and create something yourself to consider for future evaluations. I have no idea who put this together. I found it on the Facebook page Toastmasters Online. Some club put this together. As you can see at the top, they are President's Distinguished Club, meaning they've reached 9 or 10 of the goals set for clubs. But what I'm trying to share with you is there's more to evaluation than what our pathways gives, plus the form that I'll bring next week that Frank referred to also shows different ways that you can evaluate. And if I may digress and share something, if you really want to get a good evaluation, have people stop you in your speech, offer suggestions, and then you continue from there. That is difficult. Just some ideas. I hope you enjoy that. Madam,